Hey Luke, what's going on? It's Coach Benlin here, just breaking down some of your swings from our last session. I put all my notes into a document that I can send over to you. Some of it can get kind of wordy with some of the language that we use, so I want to make sure that I spell it out for you, and I could send this over to you so that when we go into our next session, we could reference, some of the terms that we're using just to increase familiarity with the language. So overall, I think you've been doing a great job the last few sessions. Your swing, I think it's really effective because it's clean and it's short to the ball. It's quick. It's very compact. There's not a lot of moving parts. I think it's balanced and you're athletic throughout your load. You have minimal head movement. Your head stays still for the most part throughout the swing, which helps with seeing the ball. Your hands get back to a nice launch position. Your hands and your wrists are relaxed, ready to go, loose, quick muscles. You do a good job of building in your lower half in your load. I think there's more room available there. I'll talk about that later with the drill we could recommend. I like that in your load, your back knee is inside your back foot and that you have a firm front lead leg. And I'll break this down and show it to you in the clips as well. I have a couple points of emphasis that I'll go over, and we'll look at some of the swings, and I'll show you a couple drills and a player that you remind me of in the MLB right now that we'll take a look at as well. But looking at some of the swings from the last 2 or 3 sessions, and I'll go one by one here and look at them. But there's a lot of good things going on. But like I was saying, that my favorite part is just you're quick to the ball, it's short to the ball, not a lot of movement. Um, Nice, quick, balanced load. Just some things that I'm gonna, mention some adjustments. I'm gonna mention some small tweaks, but nothing crazy. And I'll provide my email at the end. If there's anything you don't understand, you want to talk about, you can email me or bring it into the next session, and we can go over it as well. But we still have plenty of time left to work on this in the next few sessions, and swing should be ready to go for the spring and summer seasons. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of these. The last one that I was working with was the one from the session on Monday. Let's take a look here at the loop. So the first thing that I wrote down on a document that I'll send over to you is it's talking about your load and how you are landing right here. It says land closed, and what I'm talking about is your front foot. Okay, and we'll start there. And it's not a big deal, but just something that I think could lead to some issues here. So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So in your load, I want you to watch that front foot, the way it comes down. And when it comes down, it lands. And that's an important part of the swing because as soon as that front foot comes down, that's when the swing is going to start. It signifies the end of the load and your hip's going to come open and your hands are going to follow. So the way that foot lands is important because it keeps the whole front side either opened or closed. And let me show you what I mean right here. So when you land on that front foot, we want to stay closed for as long as possible. So let me draw on the screen here and show you what I'm talking about. So right here, let me back it up a little bit. Right there, you're a good shot at it. So if we're landing with that front foot open, see how it's opened and pointed almost towards the pitcher here? We want to try to get that front foot landed at a 45-degree or less mark. So almost along this yellow line, here being the kind of the maximum and landing closed or even if possible here. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep that whole front side closed. Because what's going to happen is if you start opening up early, you can see the front side begin to open. You see this knee start to open, this hip is going to start to open. Eventually the shoulder, you do a good job keeping your head locked on, which is great. But if this all stays closed for as long as possible, you have a lot more effective swing. And by landing with that front foot open, it opens everything up a little bit earlier. Now, there's two schools of thought there. One is that if you're landing open, it'll help you to open your hips and you'll get more, from your hips opening that way. I think you could still open your hips with the front foot closed. So when I say 45 degrees, right, we don't want to have our toe pointed at the pitcher. We want to land on those yellow lines, closed off a little more. That'll close off the front knee, the front hip, and the front shoulder. Let me just clear this. Play it again, watch that front foot. But overall, there's a lot of good things going on in the lower half here while we're looking um, at your load. You see that bend in the back? Yeah, there's a lot of good things here, and I'll talk about that in a second as well. But while I have it up, um, you have a nice 90-degree in the backside here. Hold on, let me clear that. Sorry, 1 second. Get this out of the way. Yeah, right there's a good shot. So what I'm looking at here in the backside is this 90-degree in the back. I know that's in the way there, sorry. Firm front leg, we'll talk about that in a second. And we're gonna talk also about the extension piece here, making sure this is extended out in front. This is what we've been working on in the last few sessions, and you're really improving watching the different videos here. Okay, so going back to the document, and I'll send this over as well. Let me clear my screen, sorry. Okay, we're talking about the knob a lot in the last few sessions, right? Using the knob, getting the knob through early. The knob will lead the way. The barrel follows through after. And sometimes I feel like you're kind of barrel happy, and your top hand is rotating over, and you're trying to get the barrel on the ball rather than focusing on pulling the knob through with that barrel kind of lagging behind. So our job, and it says it right here, is to get the knob inside and in front of the ball whenever we can. Okay, inside and in front of the ball. So if I'm showing you a slow-mo here of Corey Seager right here, it's a great job of a zoomed-in shot of him making sure his knob leads the way, right, with the barrel following behind. I want to make sure that we stay kind of focused on this, because a couple of your videos, you're rolling over, your hands are heading towards your pocket, the barrel's coming around first, and we don't want to roll over and ground out to the right side of the infield since you're a lefty. We want to make sure that we're staying back at the pitcher, back up the middle, gap to gap. And by doing that, get the knob going through first and the barrel following behind. Let me show you one of the videos. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. It's a great finishing pose right there. You got a pretty swing. Let's see if we're getting that knob through early here. There's one of the rollovers I'm worried about. I just want to make sure that you're not top hand dominant and pull happy, that we're hitting the ball to all fields, staying up the middle. Here, let's break it down right here. Frame by frame, take a look. Nice balanced load right there. Hands are back, looks good, tracking the ball in. Front foot lands kind of open, which is what we're working on. It's not bad. I would love to see that knob get out in front. It's a good angle right there, good shot. See how your top hand kind of rolls over and dominates right there? Yeah, check out the next one as well. It's a pretty good piece of hitting right there. So out of the 4 or 5 videos I watched, there's just, you're a little inconsistent with getting that knob and that barrel through. We're not seeing it here as much, but a lot of rollovers that we want to avoid. Here's one of them right here. So you're forcing that barrel around. Right here, you have your knob's heading towards the ball. Don't be in a rush to put that bottom hand away and force the barrel out there. Just keep traveling with it, and the barrel will follow. Something we'll talk about in the next session as well. Once again, not a huge deal, but just something we want to be conscious of. Going back to the document here. Sorry. Extension. This is what we've been very big on with you in the last 2 or 3 sessions, right? You do a great job getting to the ball, getting to the point of contact. I want to focus on going forward from the point of contact when that ball is hitting the barrel all the way to the finish. Sometimes we talk about you kind of decelerate your bat and you stop it halfway through, like a 3/4 swing, and you bring it right back. And I keep telling you, there's no rush. Finish it. Let your hands finish all the way to your back, and extending through the ball, right? Getting through 3 baseballs. I talked about in the last session having, if you're working on a tee, 1 tee set up, another tee with 3 in a row, making sure that bat is going through 1, 2, 3, all 3 baseballs and extending out in front. Letting those hands finish all the way to your back with a big follow through. And as time is going on in these sessions, you're getting better and better at it. One of the earlier videos, you were stopping almost at a 3/4 swing. Check out this loop. Once those hands say yes, and your hips are gonna fire off, and your hands are gonna go. Let those hands right there. See you're stopping kind of 3/4. Let your hands follow and finish all the way through to your back. There should be so much momentum with the hands that they shouldn't be able to stop. You want to make sure you're extending through the baseball and letting that hand path finish through to your backside. And this is from a couple weeks ago, but more recently, you're getting better and better at it. I have another video of a guy that you remind me of, who's in the pros, kind of a similar swing, and he's great at it. And I'll show you too. Let me pull it up right here, and I'll give you that document in a minute with my email as well if you have any questions. So here's the guy that you were kind of reminding me of here, Francisco Lindor, his lefty swing here. One of the sweeter swings in the game right now. But I have a good slow-mo of him I want to show you. Let me pull it up. So just watch the point of contact, the extension, and the follow through right here. Great shot of that knob going first, right? So here's contact. Watch him get extended through, full extension there. They call that the power V, right? Both arms extended all the way out in front. And watch how he finishes to his back. There's so much momentum that he's not going to decelerate his hands. He's going to go all the way through. Show it to you again. A lot of similarities with your swing, though. Knob going through first, barrel comes through, extend, follow through all the way to his name on his back. Beautiful swing. We head back to the document. A couple more things. The last thing I really wanted to focus on was the approach, right? Looking at a lot of your swings, like I said before, a lot of rollovers and kind of pull happy, pulling to the right side of the field, being a lefty. I want to make sure that we're using the whole field. We talked about in the session, we've been working on one part of the session every week about breaking the plate into thirds, right? Inner third, middle pitches, outer third pitches, hitting the ball where it's pitched, and using the whole field, right? Gap to gap hitting. And once again, you're getting a lot better at that. I feel like you're looking to pull everything at first, but every time we go into that box, especially in game, I know it's different in the cages here, but we want to make sure that we're using the whole field, hitting the ball where it's pitched. If it's on the inner half, getting it out in front, recognizing it early, dropping the barrel, pulling the hand through early. If it's middle, letting it get to us, letting it travel, hitting it back where it came from, and the stuff on the outer half, seeing it deep, using the whole field, using the opposite field, getting the knob through early and spraying it that way. It's just another evolution in your swing and your approach, but I want to make sure that we're staying focused on it, and it's something we're going to continue to develop over time. But overall, a lot of good things going on. I want to throw one drill at you that we'll work on this week, just to give you a heads up if you watch this video before we get into it. It's called a jump back drill, and you're pretty good in your load. You have good balance. I want to make sure that we're building and we're using all of that tension and torque that we build in our load, and we're using it to get through the baseball and add some power. So here's a drill Melky Cabrera was doing, jump back drill, and something that we're going to do in our next session here. You've probably seen me using it with other guys as well. Just to build balance and generate in our back leg there, keeping that knee inside the back foot and using that momentum to get through the baseball. So once again, a couple more looks at it. This is the drill that we're going to do next week for our T series. Something that I really think is going to help you add a little more power explosiveness to your swing. So to wrap it up and kind of get you out of here, once again, I'll send you this document. A lot of good things that we're seeing here. It's a balanced, athletic swing. It's short and quick to the ball. Um, Not a lot of room for kind of mistakes in the build up in your swing, which is great. The things we want to focus on going forward in the next week or so is landing with that front foot closed, right? Keeping the whole front side closed for as long as possible. Using the knob, leading the way with the knob, letting the barrel follow through last. Getting extended through the baseball and finishing to our back, right? That up and out finish we talked about, and then keeping with the approach we've been working on. Using the whole field, hitting the ball where it's pitched. I'll send this over to you. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, email, or bring them into the next session. I know it's kind of wordy sometimes, but I think you got a very bright future here, and I look forward to building on this swing in the next few sessions. I put my Twitter account in there as well because some of the videos are posted there if you want to check them out there, the Rye Grays, and my Twitter as well. Great job, and I'll see you at the next session.